Welcome to the lecture series in computer science. We are seeing a series of lectures in the subject Agile Methodologies. We will be seeing topics on Agile team interactions and the ethics that is followed in the Agile teams. Now, the contents of today's session are, we will be seeing about the agility in organization, the Agile teams, the Agile team roles, Agile team interaction and the product owner. What is the roles and responsibilities of a product owner? We will be seeing about a distributed team communication and its shortfalls, and then we will be seeing about ongoing day-to-day communication activities and what is collaboration and what are the advantages and disadvantages of collaborating, and then we will be seeing about ethics in Agile teams, Agile ethics requirements, and then we will define ethics implementation in organizations. In first thing, we will be seeing about agility in organizations. What do you mean by agility? The software process improvement, it has always been an essential part of the software projects. The current market trends and the rapid pace of changing requirements demand fast development and adaptability. Agility is bringing in responsibility and ownership in individuals, which will eventually bring out the effectiveness and efficiency in deliverables. Companies are drifting from the traditional life cycle development cycle model, the traditional software development life cycle model, and they tend to move towards this agile environment for the purpose of attaining quality. Now, let us see about the Agile teams. As far as Agile teams are concerned, the Agile teams, who is an Agile team? My dear viewers, we would have seen many different sessions on this Agile methodologies, and you might be knowing what sort of quality and characteristics are required for an Agile team member. For an Agile team member, he needs to be dynamic, he needs to be enthusiastic, he needs to be energetic. Here, as an Agile team, the Agile team are said to be the whole team. What do you mean the whole team? Agile team is basically classified into three different members. First one is said to be the team member, wherein that team member includes both developer as well the tester. Second one is the scrum master or the Agile coach or an XP coach. The third person is said to be the product owner. Who is the product owner? The customer or the customer representative is said to be the product owner. Who is the customer representative? A person who is employed by the customer and who will be part of the entire development process of the Agile development process are called as the customer representative, and they are said to be the product owners. So, the team member, development team member, scrum master or the Agile coach or the XP coach, and then the product owner are all collectively called as the Agile team, and that is the reason we say the Agile team is said to be the whole team. The Agile team are formed of generalizing specialists. Agile teams are stable and determinantal to project success. What do you mean by generalizing specialist? When we could see Scrum framework, in the first sprint there will be a person who will be a developer, team member will be a developer, the other person will be a tester. But in the second sprint, the person who was a developer in the first sprint will become the tester. The person who was a tester in the first sprint will become the developer. What does this mean, my dear viewers? This means, as far as a traditional life cycle model is concerned, throughout the life cycle of the project, a developer is a developer, a tester is a tester, wherein here in Agile software development model, a developer will act as a tester at some instance of time, a tester will act as a developer at some instance of time. So, there is no specific role, everyone used to play a generic role. That means a person, he may be a tester, he may be a developer, he may be a team player. So this is one of the quality of an agile team member. When he is into the agile project, then apart from being energetic, apart from being enthusiastic, he should be a generalized specialist. He should be capable of writing codes, doing all development activities. He should be a good communicator. He should be a good player. He should be a good collaborator. He should be a good interactor, and then he should be a good tester. So the same person, he will be playing many different roles, and that is called as generalizing specialist. Then the agile teams are stable and determinantal to project success. When they are interactive, when they are communicative, when they are energetic, when they are able to resolve issues, which means they will be in a position to make small releases wherein it becomes a project success. So that is the specialty of agile team, and that is the reason we say agile team is stable. Then the next is, let us see the roles, agile team roles. It is majorly it is about the cross functional team member. Who is a cross functional team member? Cross functional team member are professionals who deliver potentially releasable product on a frequent basis, on small intervals. They will release small working software. They will try to release small features. They will give you small releases. So it is a responsibility of the team member, and it is to be overall, it is to be monitored by the scrum master. Then they need to deliver the work in the shortest possible time with highest quality without any sort of external dependencies. These two are the specialities of a cross functional team member. Then we have the product owner. Who is a product owner? A product owner, he interacts with the customer and the stakeholders as well the team members, and they pay attention to the highest value for the customer. Why do they pay attention? Why do they give highest value for the customer? It is because the customer has employed these people. Since they are said to be the customer representative, they interact with the customer as well with the other stakeholders of the project. My dear viewers, who are the other stakeholders? What is meant by stakeholder? What do you mean by team member? What is a stakeholder? Anyone and everyone who is involved in the development of this project is called as a stakeholder. So it is a responsibility of the product owner to interact with the customer as well with the other stakeholders of the team, and then with the team. And then the other roles are, they create the backlog for and with the team that delivers the highest value without creating any waste. What do you mean by any waste? Without having much backlogs, much contents in the product backlog, or in the much contents in the parking lot. The other roles that can be called by various names are the project manager, scrum manager, team lead, agile coach, XP coach, or facilitator. My dear viewers, who is a facilitator? A person who facilitates. If it is of a meeting, if it is of a scrum meeting, if it is of a retrospective meeting, if it is of any sort of review meetings, then who is a facilitator? A moderator will be a facilitator. A facilitator will be an independent person who is independent, or he will be a common man who will not be involved in handling the projects. So such a person you called as a facilitator. So these are the other team roles. Now let us see how they are interacting, how the agile team is interacting. In this diagram, when you could see, it is broadly divided into three different segments. The first segment denotes the team lead or the architecture owner. In the first segment, the second role is the team member. The third role is the product owner. My dear viewers, I said the product owner will be customer representative. So who will be interacting with the customer, and apart from interacting with the customer, he will be interacting with the team members. So this figure shows that he is interacting with the team member. Who is a team lead? Who is an architecture owner? What does it mean? An architecture owner will be someone like the scrum master, who will be in charge of the designing part, who will be in charge of the end-to-end execution, who will see to that, who will be responsible for hand-holding the team members in the success of the project. Then that completes the first component. In the second component, we have the technical expert, domain expert, independent testers. What does it mean? Who is a technical expert? Supposing if you require some training in your development phase, if you are not aware of the new technologies, if you are pretty new to this agile software development, if you are pretty new in handling the particular software, then you will be given training by the technical expert. Who is the domain expert? The domain expert gives training to the team member on the domain that they work, that the team works. My dear viewers, what is a domain? Domain denotes banking is a domain, insurance is a domain, retail is a domain. So these are all domains: banking, insurance, retail, and even the manufacturing. So these things are said to be certain domains, the area in which people work. Finance is a domain. The team member, he should know in which domain he is going to work, in how, or he should be in a position to pose questions, he should be in a position to answer questions to the queries that are being posed. Then what is the role of an independent tester? In my previous slide I was saying the team member, at the first sprint he will be doing the development work, second sprint he will be the same member, he will become a tester, he will be doing the testing, third sprint again he will become a team player. Then what is the role of an independent tester? Again, if you happen to develop a particular project, develop a particular software, and when you are going to check for errors, you might be good at checking errors, but when you are going to give the same software to the third person, and if you ask him to check for errors, it is pretty easy, even in real life scenario, it is pretty easy to find fault on others than to ourselves. Our view, since we have created the software, we will be checking the errors only in one particular angle, only in one perspective. Whereas in the case of an independent tester, who is said to be a third person, he will be checking it in different angles, different perspectives. The final idea is, the goal is, you are supposed to give a bug free release to the customer. So that is the role of the independent tester. So here, as far as the team is concerned, I said it is classified into three types. One is the scrum master or agile coach or XP coach or the team lead or architecture owner, however you may call it, depends. The naming convention of the role depends based on the model that you are going to use, agile model that you are going to use. The second one is the team member, wherein it will be a combination of developer and tester. Third one will be an product owner, that is team. And technical expert, domain expert, independent testers are all, they play the supporting roles. So hence it is called a supporting cast. Then these team member, they produce a working software, a small release, or at large during the completion of a project they give the customer full-fledged working product, that is called as a consumable solution. This is how the team members interact. So the more and more interact, more and more the team member interact, more and more the team member collaborate, the more and more successful the agile project will become. Then let us see who a product owner is. Now how does he communicate? A product owner is responsible for communicating to the team member as well to the scrum master or the XP coach or the agile coach or the chief architect or the team lead, whomsoever it is called as based on the model. And then he is also responsible to discuss the issues with the architecture owner. The architecture owner is a person who makes the design, who creates the design, who verifies the design, who manipulates the design based on the requirement, based on the change in requirements, based on the creep in requirements. So this product owner communicates with them as well. The product owner will communicate with the end user, the domain expert, auditors who are responsible for auditing, the support staff, operational staff, architects, and the senior management. So this is how the product owner communicates, as they are all the customer representatives, and whatever they communicate, it is the responsibility of the customer representative to inform anything and everything to their customer or to their immediate boss. So they will be part of the team, software team. Then let us see how the team communication happens with respect to a distributed team. My dear viewers, you would have seen about this agile team. This agile team, we will be having projects as an in-house project, or the project team may be co-located, the project team may be distributed. What do you mean by in-house? In-house denotes the project that has been handled within the same building, within the same environment. What do you mean by co-located? Co-located determines that team member will be at a callable distance. What does it mean? Will they be in the same organization? No. Say for example, if the first team is in Chennai in one particular zone, the second team is also in Chennai, wherein that office is at a distance of some 10 kilometers, the third team is also in Chennai with a distance of some 20 kilometers. Supposing if the customer wants to meet all the team members on a face-to-face basis to have a face-to-face discussion, then it is feasible for a co-located team to drive their way to a centralized location and to have a customer meet. If it is an in-house project, there is no issue at all, because anyway all the team members are going to be put in the same organization. If the customer is going to come, they can address. If it is of a co-located team, they need to be informed at least some 2 or 3 hours in advance, so that they will all assemble at a single common location. The third team is to be a distributed team. What does it mean? If the first team is located in Chennai, second team is located in Delhi, third team is located in California, fourth team is located in Melbourne, fifth team is located in Ethiopia, and if the customer comes from a place called Singapore, and if he is going to land down in Chennai, is it possible for the team members who is put up in US and who is put up in Australia to meet on a face-to-face basis? Definitely not. In that case, people go in for this distributed team communication. So here in this distributed team communication, as we could see, here all the team members are assembled in one particular point, in one particular location. Then this is a one location, say for example Chennai location, and this is a, say for example it is a Melbourne location. So here again everyone has formed as a team. Then how do they communicate? They do video conferencing. VC denotes video conferencing. So it is an external communication, single external communication, which is being done through video conferencing. Okay, what is it that has been inferred from this? It follows both the team, by and large it follows group dynamics, and it follows face-to-face communication within the room. What is the advantage of having a face-to-face communication? Why not video conferencing by all team members separately? The more profitable, the more success factor will be when you are going to have a face-to-face interaction, a face-to-face communication. That is the reason everyone has been put up in a single room in one particular place in Chennai. That is the reason every team member has been put up in a single room in one particular place in Australia, in Melbourne. And both of these members, this customer, he may be in a centralized, he would have come down to Chennai. So this is the transmission that takes place, this is the way of communication that takes place through a video conferencing, and it has group dynamics, face to face communication within the room. This is the advantage of a face to face communication on a virtual means on a distributed team. Supposing if they are going to have a communication like this, that is, all team members, they are all put up in their home and everyone has been communicated through video conferencing. Will it be successful? Yes, it will be, but to an extent. Why? Because here in video conferencing, if they are in groups, one person will be jolting down the points, one person will be making the recording, one person, if he is not able to answer, the other person will support this person. If it is of a team, if they are put in a single room, they can communicate pretty well, because the major principle of this agile model itself is how do you interact with people. So this, if you are going to have on an individual basis the video conferencing, then there will not be any sort of group dynamics, there will not be any sort of much of interaction. If they are within the room, they will be in a structured way, they will be in a self-organized way. Whereas over here, if they are in their homes, there is a possibility that their kids or their spouse may disturb them. So the group dynamics, there is no assurance for the group dynamics to be followed. So there will be no group dynamics as far as this particular case is concerned. And this is what here in diagram we have given 13 different team members, and when each individual spends, they will be having separate one-to-one communication, but group dynamics will not be followed. So my dear viewers, the important point to be noted down here is, when you are going to work with this distributed team, group dynamics has to be followed. That is a vital point. Then explaining it in terms of pictures rather than in terms of words. A picture is worth 1,000 words. When you are going to say all sort of verbose contents, full of verbose, full of documents, how many of them will have the habit of reading it? So if it is of this picture, it will be, they will be easily identifying and they will be easily answering the queries. Easily they will be in a position to understand. Now let us see the ongoing day-to-day communication. We saw about the co-located team, we saw about the distributed team. What are the other ongoing day-to-day communication? The team boards. My dear viewers, when you have learnt about this Scrum framework, you would have seen a Scrum board, or it is called as storyboard, wherein all the user stories will be sticked in the board. Such a board, when it is being used in a different model, we call such a board as team board. A Scrum board or a storyboard, or it is also called as a team board. A team board is used for tracking the progress of specific activities or for showing the current state and progress of work. Then we have daily stand-ups. What is the use of a daily stand-up? For the team to quickly catch up on where the team is, what is the pitfall that they have encountered and how to resolve it. So for that, and to fine tune the team, to fine tune the adjustments to the plan for the next 24 hours, to run by the team members themselves, as they are all a self-organized solution development team. Then what is collaboration and what are the ingredients of collaboration? A collaboration is defined as the action of working with someone to produce something. You collaborate, you interact, you mingle. Collaboration is mingling. What are the ingredients of collaboration? Having mutual trust between team members, being open-minded as an individual, being approachable as an individual, being available when and where required, being open to changes, having a clear direction, having belief in oneself as an individual, and should believe others. They should communicate properly and effectively by actively listening. My dear viewers, this collaboration topic is pretty important. If you have been questioned, it is defined as the action of working with someone to produce something, and these are the ingredients which is pretty important as far as the examination purpose is concerned. Then what are the disadvantages of having collaborating, or what are the barriers that makes collaboration, that causes the ill effects for during collaboration? What are the collaboration barriers? We will see. Organizational structures which group similar type of skill in silos, encouraging and supporting a them and us culture. What does it mean? Supposing if you have a distributed team, one team is in India, the other team is in Ethiopia, Africa, you have a cultural difference, you have a racial difference. You are not supposed to discriminate a person based on any sort of racism or any sort of culture. There should not be any sort of them and us culture. If so, collaboration fails. The managers who have to resource their projects based around scarce resource, if he is not having sufficient resource, it is the responsibility of the Scrum Master to segregate things and get the work done from the team members. The reward should be based only on personal individual goals. So it should be for the team. Unwillingness to concede something for the greater good which would impact a personal goal. A culture of personal competition. What do you mean by personal competition? So it should be, if it is a success, it is a team success. If it is a failure, it is a team failure, not as an individual. Then what is an ethics in Agile teams? Agile ethics is the explicit application of Agile methods to ethical assessment, adaptation and learning that allows for a team to mature its practices as it works at the bleeding edge. It employs Agile methods to tackle ethical challenges and include ethical approaches within an Agile development process. This Agile ethics and Agile is being followed for the future team members. Whoever is going to come in the future, they should follow certain standards, they should follow certain principles, they should follow certain rules, they should have certain ethics in them. So the requirements of Agile ethics are: Agile ethics is to be followed to train and support the next generation of developers, designers, data scientists and founders in ethical technical production. Decentralization of critical ethical thinking in an organization or team. Iterative development of process that supports decentralized consideration of the implication of any given idea. Dedicated staff to manage the process. Inclusion of diverse and external voices are to be noted down as far as this Agile ethics is concerned. And how do we define us? We should define the culture of ethics in an organization, and customers have to be included in defining the process, in defining the ethics, and the future, as what the future is required is to be defined, that is proposed to be created, and dark patterns have to be ideated, and roadmap is to be defined, and scope for implementing the ethical framework of the product has to be defined, and the team should be set up and they should be responsible for implementing the ethics. Now let us summarize this session. We have seen about the agility in organization, the Agile teams, the Agile team roles, the Agile team, how do they interact, and who is a product owner, what is the roles and responsibilities of a product owner. We saw about the distributed team communication and its pitfalls, and we saw about the ongoing day-to-day communications, and we saw what is meant by collaboration and its ingredients. We saw about the ethics in Agile teams, we saw about the requirements that are required for the Agile ethics, and we defined this ethics implementation with respect to each and every organization. Thank you.